Hey Run Junkies, welcome to Dots and Donuts, my Run Disney inspired weekly series as we get ready for the 22-23 season. And today I want to address a viewer question from Matthew, who asks if I could detail a full race day from the moment I wake up, the routine, what I bring to the race, my practices at the start line, and what happens after I finish. Thank you so much for this great question. So let's get to it. Now, there is a lot of thinking and planning that can go into a Run Disney event weekend. And if you've never been, the start staging area and the corral system can be kind of confusing, maybe a little bit overwhelming. So if you are new to your first Run Disney weekend, I strongly encourage you to subscribe to this channel, because when the events get closer, Run Disney releases a digital event guide. These detail everything you need to know going into the event weekend. When that officially launches on the Run Disney website, not before, so don't bug me about it, then I will do video breakdowns of the digital event guide and the course map breakdowns. I spent a lot of time on them. You guys apparently love them, so you don't want to miss it. They're very popular. If you want to see one, check out this right here. So the first thing you will want to know is the timeline and logistics of the events. A lot of what I'm talking about in this video hinges on understanding the kind of the itinerary. I would recommend saving this episode to watch again closer to your event. Now, I'm going to make a couple of assumptions about this question in general. Let's just say that you already ran the gauntlet of the Health and Fitness Expo, because that's practically its own video. You've gotten your bib, you've gotten your t-shirts, and you are on property awaiting your event. By the way, there is no race morning bib pickup. Now, here's how I try to manage my usual lead up to race day. More about that usual part in just a minute. My usual race day prep is to be back in the room early enough to get a solid night's sleep the night before. It's difficult for me since my circadian rhythms are set 2 hours earlier. If I can be back in the room by 8, I declare victory. If I've been on my feet a bit, I'll foam roll for a few minutes, lay out all of my race day clothes from toe to head, shoes, socks, shorts, skirt, costume, sports bra, my bib, and how I'm attaching it to myself, hat, visors, sunglasses, hydration pack, which has like my camera, my cool towel, my sunscreen, my lip balm, any fuel I'm bringing. Also, if the weather is going to be cooler, I'll bring a ditchable layer to throw away after I've started. Ideally, I've laid out all of this before, even before packing for my trip. I've taken a picture of it and saved it to my phone. Then I'd try to pack as much of it in its own packing cube so it's all together. If I need to reference what I'm missing, I check that picture that I took before I left. Then I'm in bed with lights out. Now at 2 a.m. at the latest, my alarm goes off. I want to be on the first bus if I can, which typically leaves at 3 o'clock or 3:30 depending on the race. Wash my face, I have my coffee, usually some food like a bar or some overnight oats. I get dressed as much as I can depending on the outfit I'm wearing, because there are some that you can't put on until you get there. And I pack anything else in my gear check bag if necessary. I am at the bus stop at least 15 minutes before the first bus is set to depart. Earlier, if I can manage it. Once on the bus, I relax. Maybe I bring a coffee or a water, and then I make my way through security to the start staging area. Now, there's a lot of downtime now. I usually find my friends in front of the stage dancing, having fun. It's a great warm-up before the race. DJ CJ gets the crowd going, and I'll also typically try to get video because of, well, this. I love spending this time chatting with my friends for a bit and wait for the announcers to tell us to head to the corrals. I usually try to get into the corrals as early and close to the front as I can, but without standing there for too long. It doesn't always work out that way. Before I go in though, I'm hitting the porta potties one last time because coffee. And at that point, it's a waiting game. I try to take a little time and space in the corral to warm up. moving my legs, maybe getting in a jog. Now, standing in the corral can be a big problem, and it can make you stiff if you don't keep moving. Depending on where I'm starting, it could be an hour from the time the first runners start to the time I'm starting. And that doesn't include the time waiting for the first start. I have waited in the corrals 90 minutes or more before my race starts sometimes, before my wave goes off. Once the race starts though, I kind of do whatever I decided to do for that race. Maybe I'm stopping for characters, running intervals with friends, or maybe I go pedal to the metal to see what I can do. It has happened, maybe twice ever. I don't necessarily recommend going for time, especially for your first RunDisney race. After I cross the finish line, it's still a long way to get back to the staging area. I take my time, get my medal, my snack box, my water, and then I grab my gear bag if I've checked one before the race. From there, I will linger in the staging area before taking the buses back to the resort. I've been known at the finish area to get a beer, chat with friends, get I did it pictures, go back to the stage to dance, often all of that all at once. And the reason is because there's still a race day high that I like to kind of embrace for a while. I want to hear what my friends thought of the race. I want to trade stories and highlights. It's a way to decompress and share, even though I may have run separately from everyone else. Now, once I've come down a little bit, I'll make my way back to the bus to take me back to the hotel. Now, this is a critical time, I think for a lot of runners, but certainly for me. Before heading out to the parks, I have to foam roll and stretch out again. I try not to go back to bed because then I'm just really sore. So it's a shower, a snack, foam rolling and stretching in whatever order they need to happen, as long as they all get done. Now from there, it's out to the parks for a meal and some fun. Spend a couple of hours in the parks just to kind of flush out the system from the running. If I have a run the next day, then I try to get in an early meal before heading back to the room to do it all over again. Now, here's the thing about everything I just told you. All right, every point on this list has a why, and most of it is based on my own experience across over a dozen RunDisney weekends and 30 races. Some things we just have to learn from experience. And if I gave you the why for every point in this scenario, we'd be here for a very long time. But I want to come back to what I said before about this being usual. Okay, usual is the ideal. Everything I just said is just the ideal scenario, but almost never goes exactly like this every time. Due to time management, weather complications, traffic, and transportation issues, your race day prep and execution may not always go like this. Always plan for extra time. Know that you may not get enough quality sleep, and that something may change your race day, requiring you to make changes on the fly. It happens. Remember that RunDisney runs a tight ship, but not everything always goes according to their plans either. So please remember to pack some patience. Anyway, that is my typical and ideal RunDisney race day. I know a couple of you are out there snickering because you've seen how some of these things don't happen all the time. But I do the best I can with what I got. I want to thank Matthew for this question, and if you have a question you'd like me to answer, please leave it in the comment section down below. Before I go today, I want to remind you of my Team MSAA fundraiser, which supports multiple sclerosis research and support. There are so many ways you can help, and you can start by following me on Instagram at Coach Heather J. That's where I'll be posting in my stories the different sponsorship opportunities, not just for Team MSAA, but also for the other charities I'm working with as well. But that's going to do it for me today. My question for you today is this: how do you manage a race day? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions in the box below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember, you have no limits. Happy running.